A recording just surfaced that has the internet asking one question. What exactly did Ellen DeGeneres know?
Talked to many other girls, and a lot of things have happened.
That's Virginia Giuffre, the woman who exposed Jeffrey Epstein's entire operation, the woman who named names, the woman who was silenced before she could finish telling her story. But here's what makes this audio different.
I do not believe he died by... No.
If Epstein didn't kill himself, then someone is still out there, someone powerful enough to silence a billionaire in a federal prison, and, according to court documents, that someone had help from 25 different people in the entertainment industry.
But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia.
Bit of
Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But, she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Ellen DeGeneres fled the country weeks after the Epstein files started dropping. Her executive producer died under mysterious circumstances, and now, newly surfaced audio is connecting dots that were never supposed to be connected. But here's what nobody's talking about. Recently, a recording connected to a past case started getting attention online, and people are now questioning what it really reveals. What's being said, and who might be connected, has surprised a lot of viewers. This isn't just another celebrity gossip story. This is about a pattern of silence, a pattern of sudden departures, a pattern of people who were about to talk, suddenly not being able to. And at the center of it all, two names that keep showing up together in places they shouldn't: Ellen DeGeneres and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, before we dive into the connections, you need to understand how this operation worked, because without that context, what I'm about to show you won't make sense.
She approached you to
Yeah,
work.
she's like, do you need to make any extra money? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, I can give you, like $200. This is older guy in Palm Beach. He gets a lot of massages from girls.
That's how it started, every single time. Ghislaine Maxwell would find vulnerable young women. She'd offer them money, she'd make it sound legitimate, and before they knew what was happening, they were trapped. On July 2, 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested by the FBI in New Hampshire after months of keeping a low profile. Prosecutors charged her with helping recruit individuals for Epstein, and in some cases, taking part in serious misconduct herself. But here's the thing everyone seems to forget. Maxwell didn't just recruit, she participated. She normalized the abuse. She made these girls think what was happening to them was completely acceptable.
She was like this really bright Mary Poppins kind of a figure, and she said, "Oh, you're reading a book on massage therapy." And, we started talking. And she goes, "Oh, you know what? I know this guy. There's an opportunity, actually. If you want to become a real massage therapist, we can get you trained."
Listen to that description. Mary Poppins, this proper English lady who looked so nice. That was the whole point. Maxwell's accent, her posh upbringing, it gave this veneer of respectability that made victims let their guard down.
Like, no alarm bells went off because it was this proper English lady who just looked so nice.
And this is where it gets disturbing, because once these girls were inside, they weren't getting out easily.
Glenn grabbed one foot, I grabbed the other. And she says, you always want to keep one hand on the body when you're massaging somebody. And then he turns over, and the entire thing changed. They said, take off your clothes. I had these little girl undies on, like little hearts on them, I remember. And they were laughing at that because they like that. The younger you look, the better it is.
The younger you look, the better it is. Let that sink in. These weren't isolated incidents. This was a system, a well-oiled machine that required more than just two people to operate. And this is where the newly surfaced audio becomes crucial, because Virginia Giuffre, the woman who brought this entire operation into the public eye, she tried to warn us. She tried to tell everyone that Epstein wasn't working alone.
a lot of people involved. It took doctors, psychiatrists, gynecologists, dentists. All these people knew what was going on, hairstylists. I mean, the list goes on. I could keep going on and on and on. Drivers, chauffeurs, butlers, housemaids. It took all of these people turning a blind eye, which they weren't blind to because we were right there blatantly in front of them.
Did you catch that? Doctors, psychiatrists, dentists, hairstylists. These weren't just random employees. These were professionals who had ethical and legal obligations to report what they saw. And they didn't. But Virginia wasn't just talking about the help staff. In her voice notes, she revealed something much more sinister.
So, just take a deep breath.
I'm trying. It's just I'm not that type of person. That's why I was so.
She was sold, a human being, sold like property. And the people buying, according to documents released by the Department of Justice, some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, and finance. Now here's where things get really interesting, because recently filed court documents revealed something that should be headline news everywhere, but somehow isn't.
She claims that 25 men, maybe friends, associates of the deceased financier, have been protected under secret settlements, secret deals, and that this information was not revealed to her during her trial. This is on top of what she claims are 4 other individuals, alleged co-conspirators, who were never tried.
25 secret deals, 25 people who were allegedly protected, and Maxwell is sitting in prison while these people walk free.
If this is true, number one, wow, and who are these people? What is a secret settlement? Can we ever find out? Can the public ever find out?
The question everyone should be asking, who are these 25 people? Which celebrities cut deals in exchange for their silence? And why hasn't a single name been released? Critics have connected the dots. They've looked at who suddenly changed their behavior after Maxwell's arrest, who shut down their shows, who fled the country, who changed their appearance. And one name keeps coming up over and over again. Ellen DeGeneres ended her show in 2022, the same year Maxwell's deposition began, the same year allegations of misconduct on Ellen's set exploded into the public consciousness. Coincidence? Some people don't think so. Leaked footage from Maxwell's deposition allegedly shows her being questioned about her relationship with various entertainment figures, and when asked about certain claims, this was Maxwell's response.
Her stories have changed so many times about what happens, when it happens, how it happens, with different versions. And each time she speaks, there's a different version.
What did you make of Ghislaine Maxwell?
It reminded me of nobody taught me how to curtsy and I didn't inhale. There was a lot of this evidence that came out during the trial that suddenly she's like, no, it's fake. I mean, during the trial, they showed her that photo and she said, yeah, that's me, that's my...
Maxwell denied everything, but she also acknowledged the evidence. She admitted to being in the photos. She admitted to knowing the people involved. And the pattern of high-profile figures abruptly shutting down long-running shows and relocating overseas, critics say it's increasingly interpreted as a sign of panic. They didn't just leave. They put their mansion on the market. They told friends they're never coming back. And they changed their entire appearance.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
she could
sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Could I tell you some stories about that cow?
But here's the thing that really makes people suspicious. Ellen didn't leave alone. She didn't leave quietly. She left right after someone who knew everything died. Stephen Twitch Boss was Ellen's executive producer, her right-hand man, someone who had been by her side for years, seen everything, and, according to some reports, knew secrets that could destroy careers.
More tonight about the tragic suicide of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him.
He switched his phone to airplane mode. He checked into a motel under his own name. He left a note.
We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past.
The note alluded to challenges, but here's what the mainstream media isn't telling you. Online forums and leaked messages suggest that Twitch's note allegedly revealed something much more. According to these sources, he told his wife about things he saw while working with Ellen, things that involved powerful people, names he never expected to be associated with that kind of darkness.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times. Because it was so dark, I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is stay in my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Tyler Perry's words remind us that the darkness people face is real, but the timing of Twitch's death, right as Ellen was facing her worst allegations, right as the Epstein files were being organized for release, that timing raises questions that still haven't been answered. And let's not forget, Twitch was forced to appear on Ellen's show during her apology tour. He was put on camera while Ellen addressed allegations of toxic behavior on set.
She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, it doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be right? You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life.
Walking around afraid for their life on a talk show set. Think about that. And speaking of that set, this is where things get even stranger, because fans started noticing something about the design of Ellen's show that they couldn't unsee.
Nice. We could have done this here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I was like, you know what? That's a good way to die. They're not going to let me buy that place. Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? The similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
But just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background.
The temple on Epstein's Island and Ellen's show set, side by side, the recurring patterns, the colors, the design elements. Coincidence? Supporters of these theories don't think so. They've pointed to hidden symbolism in multiple videos, claiming that Ellen wasn't even trying to hide her alleged connections. And if you think the set design is disturbing, wait until you hear this conversation that actually aired on national television.
About this facial that you're obsessed with, how many, did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these, some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's for
from a Korean baby. They laughed about it on national television, and nobody said anything. Now, some people will say this was just a joke about a trendy cosmetic procedure, but when you look at what else was happening in Hollywood at the same time, the laughter becomes a lot less funny. Chris Hansen, yes, the To Catch a Predator Chris Hansen, confirmed that there was an underground ring in Hollywood using children to harvest stem cells.
And he was a billionaire freakazoid.
Yes.
And part of his deal, he's in prison in jail up in Canada waiting, charges all over the globe. But his deal was that he would allegedly impregnate young women in the Bahamas, where he had a huge home, and then have them get abortions and harvest their stem cells of the fetuses to inject in himself as the founder of youth.
Let that sink in. A billionaire impregnating women, forcing abortions, harvesting stem cells. And this isn't conspiracy theory. This man is in prison right now.
Technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
And here's the question Chris Hansen asked that everyone should be asking.
I mean, was Epstein involved in that sort of activity? I don't know.
That's where, and again, we just have to look at what we have and know what we don't yet.
Yeah.
But it's a question.
Yeah,
when you
it's
look at the
it's
context
a legitimate
of the jerky
question.
stuff.
Yeah, and when you look at what other billionaire guys have done, you know.
The recently released Epstein files show he was deeply interested in genetic medicine. He paid researchers. He was enrolled in genome projects at Harvard. He was obsessed with longevity. And the people in his circle, they were joking about baby foreskins on daytime television. But let's go back to the people who actually experienced this horror firsthand, because their stories deserve to be heard. Marina Lacerta was known publicly only as minor victim number 1 until she finally spoke out.
I think with Jeffrey Epstein, it starts somewhere, but then it ends with either you having sex with him, whether you like it or not.
She was 14, and she wasn't alone.
Came to a point when I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17. He didn't want me anymore. He was just like, you're too old.
He said that?
He's like, you're too old. I don't want you.
16 years old, too old for a billionaire predator. Another victim's testimony revealed just how desperate the situation was. She was willing to die trying to escape. She was willing to swim into the ocean at night rather than face another day of what they were doing to her.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being over and over and over again.
A constant stream, over and over again, for years, and nobody stopped it. Now, let's talk about Ghislaine, the woman who took down Epstein's empire, the woman who forced Prince Andrew to settle. Virginia was writing a book that would name everyone she saw during her time with Epstein, a book that could have exposed the entire network. Before she could finish it, she was hit by a truck in a hit and run. The driver was never found. And then, just weeks before the first major release of the Epstein files, Virginia died.
Virginia Giuffre, the most prominent victim of the late convicted Jeffrey Epstein, took her own life on Thursday. This is just weeks after she made headlines for saying that she had days to live after she claimed to have been hit by a bus.
But here's what makes this suspicious. Shortly before her death, Virginia posted something on social media that no one can ignore. The tweet read, "I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form I am suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me for the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them."
Too many evil people want to see me quieted. And then she died, officially ruled a suicide, weeks before the files dropped.
A statement given to NBC News was quoted as such from the 41-year-old's family. It says, "It's with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking."
And this is where the newly surfaced audio becomes crucial. Because according to files released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and Maxwell didn't just abuse their victims, they stalked them for years, for the rest of their lives. Virginia herself said she had experienced 4 to 5 close calls where she was almost run off the road, multiple cars, not just one. And this pattern, speaking out, followed by suspicious accidents, followed by death, it's not unique to Virginia. Anytime someone with first-hand knowledge of the Epstein operation was about to expose the truth, something happened to them. Either they were discredited or silenced, or they simply disappeared. The emails from the Epstein files revealed something else disturbing: code words.
So I don't know what this one means. I'm not sure if you've seen it. This is Jeffrey Epstein sending it to, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. And then Olivier replies, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones, are like white sharks. And then Jeffrey then sends an email the next day, as two are Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. And then Olivier then emails, the king of Saudi has a few white sharks in his Jeddah palace. I totally prefer yours. Sure, I would enjoy the view. And then Jeffrey goes, on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls.
An aquarium full of girls on his island, and they're discussing them like their inventory.
What I make of it is basically he's saying that they'll hook up with ugly girls, that the head doesn't matter so much, that the body's what matter. That's the way I read it. That's what I think Epstein means by that.
These code words aren't definitive proof of specific wrongdoing, but they match patterns that investigators have seen before. Words like pizza, ice cream, grape soda, appearing hundreds of times in contexts that don't make sense. And when officials are confronted about these patterns, this is how they respond.
Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, you're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails in the Epstein files which relate to the wacky Pizzagate scandal.
You could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it.
Totally made up. Case closed. Nothing to see here. Move along. But the questions remain, and the files keep getting released, and more names keep surfacing. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman who recruited hundreds of victims, who participated in their abuse, who helped run one of the most horrific trafficking operations in modern history, is living in luxury behind bars.
It's access to a laptop computer, which is unheard of, to visits where they lock down the camp and no one can leave their bunks while she's having visitors. In fact, she's getting special treatment.
A laptop in prison. Private visits, meals delivered to her cell, bottled water while other inmates drink tap water, an umbrella to protect her from the sun during her daily walks.
We've been told from the day she got there, do not discuss her, do not put anything in writing, do not talk about her on the phone, do not make any trouble regarding Miss Maxwell, or we will move you.
Other inmates are threatened with solitary confinement if they complain about her perks. That's not how prison works for normal people. That's how prison works when you have something powerful people want to protect. And despite all the evidence against her, Maxwell still refuses to name names.
Find girls. I didn't really characterize what my job was, which was to find people, adults, professional people, to do the types of jobs that I listed before.
Professional people. Adults. That's her story, and she's sticking to it. Even though hundreds of victims have said otherwise, even though documents prove otherwise, even though she's sitting in prison for crimes against minors. The Truth Commission, established in New Mexico, is now building a team to investigate what happened at Epstein's Zorro Ranch.
The Truth Commission is set up to bring justice to survivors, to get an official government record around what happened at the ranch. Heartened by the idea that having a full slate of folks working with us through this investigation, we're going to have things to report by the end of the year.
Things to report by the end of the year. New names, new evidence, new connections. And as more files are released, the celebrities who are allegedly tied to Epstein are running out of places to hide. Ellen is in England, the Epstein files keep dropping, Maxwell is in prison with 25 secret names locked in her head, and the audio that just surfaced, it's raising questions that the mainstream media refuses to ask. At this point, it's not even about one person anymore. It's about a system that keeps repeating the same pattern. People speak out, then suddenly they're silenced, discredited, or gone. Files get delayed, evidence disappears, and the truth gets buried under headlines that never quite add up. Virginia warned us. She told us she wasn't suicidal. She told us evil people wanted her quiet. And now she's dead. Twitch knew things. He was in the room. He saw everything. And now he's dead. Ellen fled the country, changed her appearance, put her mansion on the market, and she's never coming back. Maxwell is sitting in a prison cell with a laptop, bottled water, and the names of 25 people who are supposedly walking free right now. The question isn't whether these connections are real. The question is, how long can they keep hiding them? More files are expected to drop. More names could come out. And if Ghislaine Maxwell ever decides to talk, everything changes overnight. So don't get comfortable thinking the story is over, because it's not. If you want the full breakdown as new evidence comes out, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll be covering every major update the moment it drops. And let me know in the comments, do you think these connections are coincidences, or is something much bigger being hidden? Like this video if you made it to the end, share it with someone who needs to see this, and I'll see you in the next one.